Hey yo, little man. What's going on, everyone? Straight out come here, back it again with Little Man YGO, another perfecting Amaryllis list. So, wanted to explore another version of Amaryllis that has been floating around on the Amaryllis Discord a little bit. It's from a fellow named Kerberos. So, shout out to Kerberos for creating this list initially. I think I changed the like two cards out of the deck. One being the copy flam for Treeborn Frog, and then the random hidden armory for the card destruction, right? So I saw this list initially, and it was definitely a much different take on Amaryllis itself, opposed to like kind of the other lists in the past. He cut down on the hidden armories, boosted up on the super solar nutrients, which we'll get to this card in a little bit, as well as added and even thorns, and as well as dark arm dragon. This caught my eye because I saw it as a way for one to have three darks in the graveyard almost immediately for Dark Arm Dragon. So if you don't know what this card does right here, you tribute this card, you ping your opponent for 300, and then if you do, you special summon two Evil Thorns from your deck in attack position, but they cannot activate their effects. So they do come out and attack. They are only 100 attack. They don't really like do a whole lot outside of that, but they do fill your graveyard. They do put three darks all together. Gets Dark Arm line, is food for Amaryllis. Some stuff are Aurora as well as being a target for one. So a lot of great things that this card has going for it, and I think it's definitely something worth exploring. Instead of the copy plan, I already played one game of it, and I was just like, I just cannot play this card. It's just not good. But Treeborn Frog to support the Caius is a little bit better because we are playing darks as well as complement one for one a little bit. So definitely going to be trying this for a little bit as I am just toying around with a list that's similar to this overall. Decided to cut back on the back row itself by just opting into double wing blast and torrential. I'm not necessarily agreement to this. I think that like the best versions of this deck are the ones that are able to play some sort of defensiveness to it, because if you have a way to keep your opponent on their toes with the back row and Amaryllis is coming back, you're going to grind out your opponent pretty easily. I think the trap cards are pretty important here, but he elected to go through a little bit more of a turbo version. The side deck over here, not too far, it was one that I built out, and the same thing for the extra. He didn't have one of these things, so obviously double T Roar, the Crees, Dust Tornadoes is a really thrown together side deck. It's probably not optimal, not that great overall, but I wanted to show off the two replays that I did have with this deck, or at least a version with this deck. Both of them also against the Carpath Cat deck with like Mojas in it and King of the Beast and stuff like that. So we're gonna go through some two replays of the matches that I see here. First opponent over here is Old Format Guru. I'm the old format guru, man. Like, get lost with that. Just kidding. He was a great opponent. Shout out to you for playing against my nonsense. So as you see, he opens the Mirror Force of the Mojo. He opens a relatively slow hand. He's on the Ganis too, which I think is like a very underexplored card in this format. It's a free summon, heavy storm, tribute for Kai's. I think it has everything going for it in a positive way. So we just summon the two Evil Thorns out of the deck. We ping for 300. We drop for 5. We get Tragodia out of the hand, which is terrible. But I think this is kind of what shows. I mean, maybe my poorness of playing into Tragodia, but like one of the downfalls of this card is like you're taking a whole ton of damage just like taking it, and wing blasting the back row because we passed the turn at that point. We want to make our big push. Treeborn comes back. We banish over. We tribute for Amaryllis, and we just decided to attack right over it. And the cool thing here is at least like Evil Thorn could trade right into the Raikou, but it's ended up being a -1 because this thing cannot even fucking kill a Raikou. But yeah, he just realized it too, because how else are you supposed to kill a Raikou? Like, come on, like we know this. And then we drew Foolish, which is an amazing draw because it's going to complement our nutrients very, very beautifully. Send over the Dandelion, and we're just going to solar out, baby. We just pop through the rest of the deck. Switch everything to attack mode and just start attacking. He does get back to Nibblehang Hamster that he's able to set for a recourse last turn, but he's going to be taking so much damage at this point. Amaryllis comes back. He Avarices back for 5. I think he milled back everything and then was able to draw 2 cards off it. He did not draw 2 cards off it, which is interesting. He's the opposite of my opponent that drew 2 cards off scraps for the sidecar. If you did not see that video, please see the Mystic Tomato video Just go into my channel, watch it. And also, as you're going through my channel and finding that video, there's a subscribe button there, so you should definitely hit that. All right, so we're gonna go moving forward 22 right into the mega hamster. Mega hamster goes in the Raikou. We take off Bing for 8. You do always want to attack in this order because it deals the most damage. You get the Titanium directly, and you get the additional 800. I know I made a flop last turn, but typically that's what you're supposed to be doing. So we're able to just prove these things. And he's just milling. We're booking, which is fine. Tribute, get 2 tokens. He flips Torrential, which is boss. Good move, good move. Respectable. And then he just top decks the cat. Top decking back because the cat is amazing. And then he misworms our shit back to our hand, which, what are you going to do? Swings in for 25. It's a nail biter of the game. We get Torrential to our hand. He MSTs the set. He draws DDR. This is a very interesting cat list and then we drew triple Amaryllis, and he flips the dust shoe looking at my hand. This is like, oh God, indeed. We're ready to fire this trade and to get this guy into the graveyard. And we top deck the Caius. This is why we played the Treeborn in the deck, I think. I really did like the balance between Treeborn and the Caius. There's also a great discard father of the Wing Blast. So that might be something I might want to consider in a future iteration there, as well as being another 1-for-1 target. So the Caius out, we just attack directly, and then banish off for Amaryllis, and it just doesn't even matter at that point. We go over to the next game. Game number 2, we draw our opening hand, and he showed this Gores as fastly as he can. He has a handful of power, and we have a great hand too. So we're just going to T-set that and pass. He MSTs, targets the Roar, and this was a huge Roar right here because we're able to keep the Raikou set so he doesn't have to bump in like the way that he's trying to do so now. It's almost like the opponent forgot that threatening Roar was just activated, but that's okay because you could be watching YouTube or X-rated video and be distracted, but that's okay. We give our plays back to our opponent because we don't care. So he's trying to set to make sure he bait the Raikou, but we won't fire once. And here's another thing that I want to point out too. I think this is definitely a deck or the version of a deck that you only lone fire once because you need your nutrients to bridge into something to get to your Titanium. So in the original version, I'm usually 9 times out of 10 recommending that you dump 2 of these out of the deck to thin it, but you don't really need to do that here because you're going to just get them out of the deck through evil forms or solar nutrients or whatever. So he drops cat. He shuffles the stuff back in. He drops it again. He's also goes for the power tool. He reveals triple DDR, which is very, very cool. Activates the DDR, get back the Moja, goes right into the Catastor. Cool play. So it reminds me but we're the better DDR deck, baby. That's for sure. Going first, and then we're going to brain control over. We're going to swing in. We're going to attack. All right. And then we're going to summon that and then go AFD and pass. And then we tribute because we're going to go on the aggressiveness route, right? What if he doesn't have the Gores? And of course, he does have the Gores. But nonetheless, we are going to top deck for Plague and make the Dark End. Dark End's going to take care of the Gores. I decided not to fire the Foolish because that's going to put us our 3rd Dark Engraver to set up for this Dark Arm Dragon. So and that's exactly what's gonna happen next turn. He's gonna get a no Moja, Foolish random dark, and we pop the whole board and we attack for game. So shout out to Dark Arm Dragon for stealing another game in Edison format, which is absolutely insane that's the way it has to be. Next is Nishmax, and Nishmax gave me the smacks, that's for sure, because I got 2 real hard in this game. But again, I wanted to show off the full variation of it. So just for starters here, he had we could solar nutrients out. I think I fucked up this gameplay. We probably could have just went Lone Fire into Evil Thorns and then tribute off the Evil Thorns and then gets the solar nutrient from the deck and then do that instead. So I think that was a massive move, but this is literally my first game playing with this deck overall. But he goes cat side draw. I don't think it really would have mattered there. Actually would have defended against the Arabellum, but it's both 2 monsters were getting cleared at the same time. So he decides not to hit the Titanium, which sucks ass, but what are you gonna do? He was also playing these cat variants has just been showing up everywhere, and what are you gonna do? He top decks mind control too. That's absolutely outrageous, especially when you are a cat deck and you draw Dark Arm Sorcerer. Yeah, this game is just it just even makes sense for me to continue the game. Very explosive play. Cool deck, cool deck. And then we're going to Evil Thorn out, and then Tribute 2, and then we're going to, so this is like the dream combo, right? So this is where I guess I learned to not do the full nutrient out. We did put 5 plants in the graveyard for Amaryllis. He goes over, and then he mind controls, which is, we had to negate that because he was going to tribute off for the Neospatian. That Neospatian is actually a plant, which, yeah, the Neospatian Glow Moss is a plant, which gives me an idea of, should we play Convert to Contact Amaryllis? Maybe that is the next video. So please like and subscribe. Again, if you want to see that video, just comment if you want to see it. Comment if you want to see it. All right, so moving over and fast forwarding. Market Royce, he just flips Judgment on this. The balls this man has, right? But it takes balls to win Yu-Gi-Oh, so it's okay. All right, so he tries to figure out how to do math there. Completely fine. He gets the Glow Moss out of the deck. Arabellum's out. Discards. We hope we hit to the Dandelion here. This is when I was still playing the copy point. This card's balls. This card sucks. So we're not dealing with this nonsense. And then after that, he makes the Brio. And this is another like massive misplay I made. With the Mark of the Rose, I was full of misplays. I could have kept the Evo forms in the graveyard and just banished it like a Titanium or whatever, just so I could top the Dark Arm Dragon. I don't know what I was thinking. Not at all. But in that moment, Dark Arm Dragon would have been insane to pop the board. But obviously, we have this big stupid brain control here that was going to win the game anyway. So very cool bit list over there. Very cool deck. I really do like the concept of it. I'm going to be playing around with this a little bit more. I definitely think there is some merit here, but I think it's going to take a little bit more time to crack the nut, they say. So please like, comment, and subscribe for more Amaryllis, Edison, GOAT, retro-related Yu-Gi-Oh! Content. Peace. Have an amazing day. Oh, I forgot to share the sound. Damn it. Oh, my God.